BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy, hoy, welcome to episode 538 of BRB UK. It's the second of our Easter extravaganza episodes. I don't know why I upgraded this to an extravaganza, but I've done it, so there's no going back now.
Should be an extravaganza, surely.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Hey.
I was going to let that lie. Because, frankly, Lem's low-hanging fruit. But, since you've gone there, Tim, yes. Really? It ain't over till it's over.
Ooh.
Now that is a deep cut of an egg-based joke.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
it ain't over till it's over, and that's no yolk.
Really scrambling my momentum to come up with egg-based puns, Dan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it'd be over easy.
I'm sure there's... Wait, no. Anyway, because we're slightly recording these in a bit of an anomaly in the time-space continuum, we've recorded this a little while before you've heard it.
Yeah.
So rather than try and avail ourselves of amazing powers of foresight, which frankly are difficult enough on the same day we're doing an episode, we are going to do good old faithful episode of Great British Debating. That's right. It's a crowd favourite. We're going to ask each other stupid questions and give stupid answers, unless you're Tim, where he sometimes gets a bit serious about these things and takes it quite personally.
Shall we hit the theme?
Not yet.
Oh, but I'm so ready.
Not yet. All right. Do you want to do the theme?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the theme?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the theme? Okay. All right. So, as a special treat, we're going to do another resurrection of the Great British Debate. Kind of feel like the drum roll from earlier. That was terrible.
That's also the wrong theme.
That is the wrong theme.
They're right next to each other. Basically, the Great British Debate.
There we go. Third time's the charm. I hope you also like the Easter-based resurrection pun as well.
Very good.
I'm all over it. Like a rash. Like a rash.
Gross.
Anyway, welcome to the first installment of probably two this year of the Great British Debate. The other one is, strange enough, usually around Christmas. So, if you haven't heard one of these before, basically we ask each other questions, something that's particularly contentious. And one of us argues one side of it, and the other argues the other side. And the third person, who is the impartial judge and the asker of the burning question, judges who was right. Mm-hmm. In that very, right is a strong term. One who, made the best argument. Doesn't necessarily need to be right. We very rarely are. So, we have three of us, 3 questions. That means 6 replies to questions. Oh, could the fun ever start? I think it probably might not. So, we're going to get cracking with those. What order do you want to do these, Coleman?
Well, you're the one who has the secret surprise debate.
Yeah.
Let's go backward. Let's go Tim, because Tim's got the most topical one. It'd be good to open.
All right.
I think.
Okay.
So, the question I want to ask, now that it's been announced that E3 has been cancelled for this year, is E3 actually dead this time? Like, really actually dead? That's my question. So, arguing that, yes, it is dead, I'll give to Dan. And arguing that, no, it isn't, I'll give to Coleman, which I accept is the more difficult thing to possibly do. So, Coleman can go second. So, Dan, in 30 seconds, if you could present your argument for why you believe that E3 is actually dead this time.
Okay. I'll do this very quickly.
Now.
It's never really been the same since Tim went there. That's all that needs to happen. Tim went there. He talked about it for 12 years. Frankly, there was no point having another E3 because it could never, frankly, top that. So, in the fact that Tim's no longer allowed a visa to go to America, totally made that up. They've had to cancel E3. It's only because Tim. The reason why is because he just went there for the rectal exams. Very troubling. Anyway, E3, no point to it. Tim's can't go into it anymore.
Wow.
So bye, thanks. Yeah, cheers.
Wow. Good effort.
Wow, that's possibly the weakest argument you could have made, Dan.
I did actually have some page. I had some pages of facts up there, but I decided to ignore them.
Decided to ignore them and go with a Tory level of lying.
Hey, look. To be fair, other politicians lie as well.
Okay.
Tories are a bunch of scallywags. I will give you that. But it's not just them who lie.
That's true. You didn't steal £37 billion while lying, so maybe it isn't a Tory level of lie. Yeah, Mr. Coleman, you have 30 seconds now.
Good job, that Tony Blair squeaky clean.
Yeah. You have 30 seconds now to argue that E3 isn't actually dead. Starting from now.
Okay, so since E3 has had the whole issue with Nintendo pulling out of live shows and then PlayStation pulling out of even turning up and Xbox then soon to follow, it's the same report that comes every year. And every time someone pulls out, they go, and also these three, the big three have pulled out, so it's not going anymore. They pulled out ages ago, and yet it still happens to go. We're just having a little bit of teething, getting back into the swing of things since the whole, that whole disease and pandemic happened. But no, E3 wouldn't die. And if they don't do it, it exists in our hearts.
Yes. At least he didn't lie through his teeth, Dan.
What?
The memories will never die.
I wasn't lying through my teeth. You certainly, it's the reason they don't let you go to America, because you go to customs and you demand bum exams, is exactly why.
It's really no truth.
Way to sway the judge, Dan.
So,
yeah.
I think I'm going to give it to Coleman because E3 will live on
Really?
in
Surprise.
our hearts.
Oh, God, all right. It's bloody Jesus Christ.
Kel Surprise.
Celine Dion wrote a song about some kind of gaming expo. Terrible.
Very good.
I'm not happy with it.
But I respect the hell out of your decision.
He made a more cogent argument that contained more actual.
What do you mean you made a more cogent argument? Mine was based on possible fact.
That weren't actually true.
I mean, they could be true.
They could be true.
They could be true. Can you prove they're not true?
Dan's also getting
not
into
right
politics.
now.
Not right now, so you can't prove they're not true.
Well, no. I can't produce proof
Right, okay, so
for
in
something
fact,
you've
so if you
just
can't prove
made
they're
up,
not
Dan.
true, on the balance of probability... No. So you can't prove they're not true, so on the balance of probabilities, they probably are true.
I hate it when mummy and daddy fight.
Sure.
You know, first the furry thing, now this, Timothy, I'm disgusted in you.
What if he gets to America and there's a ferry working the TSA?
Oh, that'd be amazing. If there are any listeners who do work in American customs, and if we hear Tim's going to America, we'll give you a heads up.
Can you
Dressed as a sexy bunny.
rabbit?
Yeah, exactly. You know, get the old dog unit out. Tim would love it. It'd make his day.
Oh, wow, this is getting worse by the second.
Anyway.
All right. My go?
Yes.
All righty then. Another fairly topical. So you may have recalled last week there was, 2 weeks ago as this podcast comes out, but there was an article in Bloomberg, which was a report published by IDC that stated that the PlayStation VR's launch has been underwhelming, which they cite the high price tag of the headset, with which you have to take into account that you need to buy a PS5 as well, and also the lack of must-have titles from the main series of games that have been in their launch lineup. They also calculated that there was 270,000 units that had been sold by the end of March, and I think they were aiming for more like 1 million units at that point. So, with all that in mind, has the PSVR 2's launch been a disaster? And just to make things fun, Dan will argue. I've written the wrong ones down.
Yeah, you've really written this the wrong way around.
No, we're going for this one.
Yeah.
We're going for this one. We're going this way.
No, we're
Can't
not.
change your mind now.
I've prepared my
All
written it
right,
down.
okay. I've written these down the wrong way in my haste to get ready for the show. But I will say then, Dan will argue yes, while Tim will argue no. This was meant to be the other way around for
No,
fun.
actually, no, hang on. No, I want no. I want no.
You want
No,
it has... Okay, fine. Tim, have you prepared
All right,
for
I
this?
want no.
No.
God damn it.
Because you
Okay.
literally
Tim will
just
argue
changed
yes.
your mind from one to the other.
That was a complete accident because I typed the wrong thing. Look, it was WrestleMania
I'm
last
confused.
night. I stayed
Yes,
up
if
late.
you type the wrong
Wrestling.
words, then yes, the wrong words will be there. That's how words work.
Right, let's try.
Right.
Let's try that again.
Let's do
So
this.
Dan will be arguing
Okay.
no, it was not a disaster. Tim will be arguing yes, it was a disaster. Just for the lols.
Brilliant.
All right, who
Okay.
shall
Okay.
we start? Let's start with Tim on this one.
All right.
Mhm.
Tim will go first. When you're ready, Tim, when you hear the music, begin.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bloomberg might not be the most reliable people to rely on, but I think we can all agree that if you made 2 million headsets, which was the rumoured amount, I'm not sure that's necessarily been confirmed, but if you made 2 million headsets and you only sold just over 250,000 of them, you'd have to class that as definitely not good, verging on disaster. Just by those numbers alone, maths says, yeah, this wasn't great.
There you go. I particularly like shots fired at Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Take that, Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
Hibbs is coming for you.
You and your sleuthy ways, skulking about around the back rooms of games companies with your exclusives.
Dan, are you ready to argue on the side of PlayStation VR for the first time in your life?
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you hear the music, begin.
Okay, so Wikipedia defines a disaster as a serious problem occurring over a short or long period of time that causes widespread human, material, economic, or environmental loss that exceeds the ability of the affected community or society to cope. All right?
So
they can still cope. They can still got
cope.
eyes. They can still see things in 3D. This doesn't mean that PlayStation VR was a disaster because people have been able to cope. Therefore, everything's okay and the world is a brilliant place.
See, I kind of want to give it to you for being factual, Dan, but I have a knee-jerk reaction to anyone that starts a sentence with the Wikipedia defines.
Says. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I failed students for that when they lead with the Wikipedia definition.
Well, I'm gonna have to hold you to that standard, I'm afraid, Dan.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You for
also,
it.
shots fired.
Excellent. It is now impossible for me to win. Brilliant.
Win.
I could now give Tim a clean sweep.
Yeah, you could.
Going into a decider between a... I have to say that Bloomberg's basing those figures on things it's pulled out of its arse because it doesn't actually know the confirmed figures.
And we're back to
numbers.
Tim getting into the United States.
Hey.
Right. Are you ready
For
my secret debate? For my secret debate.
I was born in a cave and I'll die in a cave, but until that point, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So.
I was born in a cave and I'll die in a cave, Tim.
Seems a bit harsh.
Now, as we all know, coming up, we have a big old holiday here in the UK. We have, there's several days that are named quite nice. Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Sunday.
All right, Monday.
Yeah. Oh my God, I've got diabetes Monday. So, Tim.
Yes.
We have a day of the week that we like to name because it's quite splendid, and that's Tabletop Tuesday. So my debate is Tabletop Tuesday is better than the shoddily named Good Friday, all right?
Obviously.
Okay.
So arguing that Tabletop Tuesday is demonstrably better than Good Friday is Coleman, and arguing that Good Friday is better than Tabletop Tuesday, it's Timothy Hibbs.
Okay.
Whoa. I only put it that way around because I can't have you having a clean sweep, all right? I mean, Tim, you look troubled by having to argue against Tabletop Tuesday.
Having to argue against my own event, but okay.
It's all right. It's fine. It's good. It's good. Any publicity is good publicity. So, going first as to arguing that Tabletop Tuesday is better than Good Friday is Mr. Coleman. Coleman, a man so good they named him twice. So when I say go, or after you start playing the play button, on the soundboard in front of you, you're going to have 30 seconds to argue that Tabletop Tuesday is indeed better than Good Friday. And go.
See, the thing about Good Friday is predominantly a holiday that belongs to the Christians, and when you follow Christianity, you follow Jesus, and Jesus, he gives out the loaves of bread, he gives out the wine, but this is my body and this is my blood and all that kind of stuff. What they don't have Dobble, they don't have Ticket to Ride, they don't have Love Letter, or any of these other amazing games that are available on Tabletop Tuesday, and that is why, by far, Tabletop Tuesday much better than Good Friday.
There we go.
Also alcohol.
You did quite a religion deep cut. I was like, lighten up, Coleman. Line it up. So, Tim, you've heard a very good argument from Coleman.
Pretty
you're
good.
In the terrible position of having to argue why Good Friday is better than your own event. So, Tim, you have from when I say go, 30 seconds to argue why. Good Friday is better than Tabletop Tuesday. And go.
I mean, aside from having the word good literally in its name, which would hint at the fact that it is indeed good, it is also a bank holiday where everyone gets to take time off, possibly play some games or do whatever else they like. But it's extra special because it only happens once a year, whereas Tabletop Tuesdays happen 50 times a year. This only happens once, so it's extra special and a good day in its name overall.
Do you know what? I just like Tabletop Tuesday, so I'm going to give it to Tabletop Tuesday.
Oh, I should work PR for Tabletop
Tim,
Tuesday.
That works either way for me.
No clean sweep for you. I know, so no clean sweep for Tim, 1 to Coleman, 0 to me, because I'm so tired of winning, I've given up winning. That's right.
What do you mean 1 for Coleman? Didn't I get 2? Tim awarded you 1, and you awarded me 1.
You are always going to give one of us the win, Dan. You fail to notice it. If you didn't win...
Yes. I just checked out when I know I couldn't win mathematically.
That's
I think I won again.
Works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I just lost interest. What happened? So anyway, so that was my debate, my secret debate. And that's why I didn't prepare it ahead of time, because I knew Tim would be like, I can't possibly argue. And
why did you turn into
yes,
Zippy?
because it's a very serious debate that we take very seriously, and therefore I wouldn't want to enter into.
This is basically question time.
They're basically question time, basically.
So less bias in question time.
Oh, don't start, Timothy. What is up with you today? Jesus! What is up with you? With your truth and your not lying and getting fondled in airport security? What is it all about, Tim?
There was a very good comment on something you said last week, Tim, which I found hilarious, which was along the line that when you were talking about buying something from Amazon and saying you wish you bought from a more reputable company that pays taxes. And then I heard the comment, wow, don't look at any video game company. Don't buy any of video games.
I mean, they got a point, Tim. They got a point.
They have a point. Also, I was contacted by a Mr. John Brady, formerly of the show this week.
I've got his book.
I've got his book too.
After all our AI shenanigans, possibly inspired by that or possibly just of his own accord, he asked AI to write an intro to a BRB UK podcast. So it kind of started okay, and then
Did it do it in his accent?
No, but you'll see why it went a little bit wrong. So it starts, intro music plays. That's generally about how we start. That's okay. And then host one.
Brady's intro music. Here we go. Go on then, do the intro. Best Scottish accent.
Okay.
So, I'm not doing a Scottish accent.
What's the better accent?
Right. So, host one says hello. So first of all, that's a bit wrong because you said hello, and you don't often say hello, Dan. But it gets worse than that. It said hello and welcome to the latest episode of Big Red Barrel UK podcast. I'm your host.
Right.
Dave.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts,
I've been wondering how he is.
Tim and Coleman.
God damn it, why am I the one whose name gets wrong? God damn it.
And then host 2
Brady
says, hey, everyone. And host 3 says, howdy. Howdy. How what?
Who says howdy?
No one.
Howdy.
Americans, maybe.
Howdy.
But yeah.
Pretty good.
So there was no Dan.
The intro.
And there was also not your staple intro. So, you know.
So in that intro, there was no intros. That basically what you said.
They got the intro wrong and your name. So
right, okay.
AI is not ready to take over the world just yet.
I'm going to ask Google Bard, write me an intro for the BRB UK podcast. It's thinking.
Oh.
Do you know what? Do you know what BRB UK? Do you know what Google Bard says?
What?
Do you know what Google Bard says?
What?
It says, welcome to the... It gets it slightly wrong.
Yeah.
But welcome to the BRB UK podcast, your weekly fix of British gaming news and reviews. I am your host, Dan. And I'm here with my co-host, Tim and Coleman. This week... It's got it a bit wrong from here. This week, we're talking about the latest games from E3. including Elden Ring, Starfield, and God of War Ragnarok. We're also going to be discussing the future of gaming and whether or not VR is finally ready for prime time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Oh,
maybe we should nick that last bit. That's how I like that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Sit back, relax, and just think you're in border control in Mississippi. Sit back, relax, and assume the position.
You are worryingly kind of fixated on border controls and their search methods.
That had nothing to do with border controls, dude.
We should find the time to do an extra episode of the Great British Debate, and we'll just get all the debates written by AIs and argue it through AIs.
Nice. Yes, like it.
And then whatever it comes up with, we'll use
have an
text to
AI
speech.
off. Are we going to each be? So I've got Google Bard. Who wants ChatGPT?
Oh, see, I've got Google Bard too. I'll go for one of the bad ones. I'll have a look.
You go Microsoft Bing.
Yeah. Well, but no, Microsoft.
Hello. Hi, Microsoft Bing.
Microsoft Bing is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
All right. Damn it. What can Tim have? If Tim's just going to have an AI that just pastes basically over and over again. Basically.
I'll just use Adobe Illustrator, misunderstanding AI, but hey.
Wow.
Pretty
Deep
good.
cut, Tim, but I appreciate it.
I like
Very
that
good. It was savage or savage. Scores scalable vector graphics, no? Huh? Hey.
Okay.
Should we go?
I think we should.
Good.
So, that's your lot. Thank you for listening to whatever the hell this was. Make sure you go on over to BRB. No, don't go over there because we don't own that domain. Go over to bigredbarrel.com. Go over to facebook.com/bigredbarrel. Go over to twitter.com/bigredbarrel. Or indeed, read the lovely notes that accompany this show and click on the link to come find us on Discord where you can ask us a question, get involved in Gamer Night. Just say hello, talk rubbish, and ask Tim questions because why not? I would.
Why not?
He logs on literally. He logs on to Discord as often as I log on to Twitter, which is about once a year. So,
I think Twitter's about to die in a fire, so I might be on the Discord server more often when that does happen. So, hey.
Indeed. So, there we go. No more show left this week, which means there will be more show next week.
Yeah, that's how that works.
We are... Hey, it does how that works. It's how that works. So, yeah. Do your thing. You be you. Hope you had a lovely Easter. And we'll be back as per normal next week. And all that's left this week is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
Tim trying to start a feud with Jason Schreier. Now that's chaos.
Not as chaotic as Mississippi border control.
Good.
There's Honest Jed. His nickname's Kit Kat because he can get all four. Never mind.
Whoa!
So thank you ever so much for listening, and until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
My lovely horse, you're going no more, running around with the man on your back like a train in the night, yeah, like a train in the night.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarrel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarrel.com.
I don't remember seeing Anthony Joshua, but I'm sure he's probably in there as well. But yeah, like a good mix of different boxers. Yep.
Does it have a Tyson Fury minigame where off season you've got to eat all of the pies?
It did have Tyson Fury, and he was very, very highly rated. He got